listen, I know that every time I do a haul on my channel, I say it is the biggest haul ever, but I legitimately don't even need to count to know that this is the biggest haul I have ever done on my channel. Mistakes were made. Hello, my lovely friends, it's Margaret, and welcome back to my channel today. I am surrounded by books. So we're here to do a book haul, and I kept waiting and putting it off because I hadn't gotten my last haul up on my channel, and I may have waited a little too long because there's gotta be at least 50 books here, guys. We're gonna keep count, I guess, but oh my god. The way we're gonna work here today, guys, because this is probably gonna be a long one, I have separated these out into genres, so I will have timestamps down in my description box. If there's a specific genre that you want to see what I hauled to get, go ahead and check that out. If I have read a book and liked it, I will let you know. I'm gonna try not to do many reviews. If you are interested in my thoughts on that book, I will put the what's the word? The wrap up. Oh my god, I do booktube and I can't even remember what we do at the end of the month. If I have made any videos, any reviews, any of that stuff, it will be in my description box. So just make sure that you check that out if you want more thoughts, because I don't want to keep y'all here any longer than necessary. We're gonna start out with what might be my, just one of the purchases that makes me the happiest here. I went and I found these lovely Barnes & Noble Signature Classics for Jane Austen. In the Signature Classics, I got Persuasion, Sense and Sensibility, Mansfield Park, Northanger Abbey, Pride and Prejudice, obviously, and Emma. I don't know that there's enough room on this table for all of these books. Moving on from the classics / Jane Austen, I did get a couple of historical fiction titles. I got Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray. I read this series last year, absolutely adored it. I know the final book has problems, but I still love it. This might have one of my favorite moments between a ship. It's on the list of OTP moments. We love a boy that understands consent. We'll go there. I also have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gahn. This was the October book for the Avengers Initiative Reading Challenge. This is a paranormal, that is paranormal historical fiction about kids with superpowers and some weird stuff that's happening in New York City. This is paranormal about kids that do not have superpowers and weird stuff that is going on in historical 1926 Shanghai. This was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and I thought the way that was handled and the way that was done was really interesting, and I liked the fact that it's almost like Romeo and Juliet never got to that final scene because the parents interrupted, and then we're seeing them several years later. I also got The Forest of Stolen Girls by June Her. This is set in... I'm dropping books. This is set in 1426 Joseon, Korea. Did I look into what it's about? No, not really, because I've already read The Silence of Bones by June Her. I thought it was really well done, and this had a gorgeous cover, so I was just I like June Her. I'm gonna get the next book. Oh, there are 13. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so this is another historical detective novel set in Korea, but some girls have gone missing, and her dad is, the main character's dad, is set to find out what happened to these girls. Next, I think we're just gonna get the nonfiction out of the way. I need to get better about reading my nonfiction because I find stuff I want to learn about, and so I get the books on it, and then it takes me a year to read the book. So I have The Death of Democracy, Hitler's Rise to Power, and the Downfall of the Weimar Republic by Benjamin Carter Hett. This is about 1920s and 30s Germany as the Nazi Party was was gaining power, and it's about kind of the breakdown of what was actually a pretty liberal democracy. I felt it was unfortunately relevant to things that are happening in my life. I also was sent a gift by a friend, which is Faith Unraveled, How a Girl Who Knew All the Answers Learned to Ask Questions by Rachel Held Evans. If you saw my last haul, I got Inspired and Searching for Sunday by Rachel Held Evans, and then my friend Kara over at Wild Book Garden was so kind and sent me this book because she knows that I have been enjoying reading Inspired. I also happened to find Writing the Breakout Novel by Donald Maas at my local indie bookstore, so I picked up a copy of that. This is just basically a book about writing books. Do I need to go any further? And then we have a whole bunch of stuff that I got during the Barnes & Noble's buy one get one kind of sale that they were doing earlier this year. One of them was Behind the Beautiful Forevers, Life, Death, and Hope in a Mumbai Undercity by Catherine Bu. I actually have already read this book, but I thought it was really, really well done. I thought the way that she highlighted just the excesses of the hotel, and then the way, like, the horrid juxtaposition of these people who live in these shanty towns that are built behind the hotels because they don't have the ability to live near where they were. I also got The Beautiful Struggle by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I have been wanting to read his work for a very long time, and so I ended up grabbing this just on his reputation alone. I have read some of his graphic, like his comic book stuff that he's done for Black Panther, and I really like what he has to examine about power structure. So I'm really interested to see how he's going to tackle that in a non-fiction setting. I think this is going to be very, very good. I also got a book that I have been meaning to get for a very long time, and that is Hood Feminism, Notes from the Women That a Movement Forgot by Mickey Kendall. This is about a lot of like the Black intersectional feminists and how to not just be an ally, but to be what is the word? An agitator? An accomplice. So I've heard really good things about this. I follow Mickey Kendall on Twitter, and she always has very thoughtful things. I really appreciate the fact that she is willing to be on Twitter and be educating people in the way that she does, and so I wanted to not only support her, but also read her book. Another one that I got was The Address Book, What Street Addresses Reveal About Identity, Race, Wealth, and Power by Deirdre Mask. This is similar to a book that I read last year, I think, The Color of Law, and I wanted to, like, that's written by a man who knew what he did a very good job writing the book, but he also was a white man. I'm trying to make sure that when I read historical stuff like that, nonfiction like that, I am also making sure to include voices of the people who are affected by the events that are being discussed. I think this is pretty self-explanatory based on the title. It is about redlining and how de jure segregation is still a thing in the United States because of the laws that were set in the 40s, 50s, and 60s and really just wrecked our country, basically. And then finally, I have Stamped from the Beginning, A Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America by Ibram X. Kendi. I have all three versions of this at this point. I'm going to be like, I really want to be able to sit down and read all three of them at various different points, maybe next year, because I want to see how he has taken the ideas that are in this, the adult nonfiction, and how he translates them. Actually, no, I think I only have the middle grade one. I don't have the YA one. I have one of them. I have this and I have one more. I want to see how he translates those for kids. I think that's really, really interesting. I want to have the knowledge that this has, but I also want to be able to genuinely recommend the ones for the YA and for middle grade, because I have friends that have kids that will be middle grade soon, and I think that these are very good books for their kids to be reading. Now that we've done nonfiction, let's talk about some of the contemporaries I bought. I got The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This was the August group book for the Avengers Initiative Reading Challenge. This is about a woman named Nora, and she has a deathish experience. She's on the verge of life and death, and she gets taken to this midnight library where basically you get to see all of the books of the different choices you can make, and it gives people the chance to really see what would have happened had they made different choices. Like, basically, like, if you regret the choice that you made, you can see what the other choice would have given you. It was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was just really good. It was very good. I also got a book that this is going to be on my top 10 books of the year. It was that good. I got Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. This is about two different people. One of them is Amira. One of them is Alex. And Amira is Alex's babysitter. She watches Alex's daughter, Briar. The book literally just opens with Amira needing to take Briar somewhere that is not home because something has happened at the house, and Alex wants the 3-year-old out of the house so that she doesn't have to, like, experience any of this, but she takes her to the supermarket because Briar likes going there. Here at the supermarket late at night, some well-meaning white lady decides that it looks fishy that there is a black woman hanging out with a white child, and she says, hey, I think you've kidnapped that child. We see the fallout, like, it's kind of varied, but we do see it trigger this whole chain of events. This was so well written. It jumps right into the action, and it really gets you invested in these characters and in what's going on, and I felt so much kinship with Amira when it comes to trying to figure her life out. Like, I was just like, same. Would you like to sit down and have coffee and talk about that? I also got Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez. I got this on the recommendation of both Brianna and Christine. Just, they thought it was very good, and there are certain things that I have heard from the author that make me think I'm really gonna enjoy this one. Also on the recommendation of Christine, and also because I really like this author's work, because I've read, this is not the first book of theirs that I've bought. I got The Cost of Knowing by Brittany Morris. This is by the author who wrote Slay, and I thought Slay was so well done. Just such a good book. It's about two boys. I believe the older one has some sort of superpower that allows him to kind of see the future, see visions of the future, and he is dealing with the fact that he has seen a vision of his younger brother's death, and he's trying to stop that. We also have Better Together by Christine Riccio. I enjoyed, what's the word? Again, but better, and so I figured I'd pick this one up because I was interested. It's some sort of Parent Trap retelling, and I was like, okay, that sounds interesting, let's go. Next book we're going to talk about is Jane Austen Goes to Hollywood by Abby McDonald. I saw Jane Austen, and that is why I bought this from my indie bookstore. I don't have any more that I know about it. Jane Austen, Hollywood, retelling, sounds interesting. I also have The Stars of Whispering Ridge by Cindy Baldwin. I found this from a thread that the author wrote about disability, specifically in regards to asthma, and she mentioned that the main character in this book does have asthma, speaking of things that I share, and so I was just like, you know, there weren't a lot of books about kids with asthma when I was a kid, or that I found, so I wanted to pick this up, and then I saw the cover, so obviously I had to buy it. I also got The Magical Imperfect by Chris Barron. I specifically got this because the girl over here has very visible eczema. Like, you can't see it here, but like you can see it as like a pretty significant eczema patch on her face, so I was just like, didn't have that as a kid, and so I wanted to read this and see what that felt like to have someone who had the same experience that I had as a child. And then the final contemporary that I got is Where the Rhythm Takes You by Sarah Doss. This is a persuasion retelling set in Tobago. That was all I needed to know about it. Now seems to be as good a time as any to go through the romances that I got. You thought I got a lot of romances last time we hauled books. Ooh, boy, friends. I got the Illumicrate editions of Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I have adored all of the books in this series. I think Get a Life, Chloe Brown is still my favorite, just because Chloe is so relatable in so many ways when it comes to relationships and dating and all of that. I think these were so good. They are some of the most fun romances I've ever read. I mean, I usually in general have fun with romances because there's romance. But I saw that Litjoy Crate, not Litjoy Crate, we don't do them anymore. I saw that Illumicrate was doing a special edition of these where they had the sprayed edges and they were hardcover, and since I prefer hardcover in the first place, I went ahead and got these. I also got Anne of Manhattan by Brenna Starlow. This is obviously an Anne of Green Gables retelling set in Manhattan. I don't need anything else. And then I also found a new series. This is, blame this on Michelle because Michelle handed me this book, which is To Love and to Loathe by Martha Waters, and it turns out that this is the second book in this series, which I read. This one is about a couple where they got married. It was a love match. It was a little bit of a rushed marriage because they got caught like on a balcony, not even kissing, just they were there, and were caught by her parents or mother, and so they had to get married, and then they have a falling out, and then a whole bunch of shenanigans ensue 5 years later. And then we also have To Love and to Loathe. This is one of the main, like her best friend, I believe, and his best friend hate each other, but decide they're gonna start like a enemies with benefits relationship, I guess. So this sounds like lots and lots of fun. I also have another one that may end up on my favorite books of 2021, and that is The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. This is the third book in the Kiss Quotient series, and it is the best one of the bunch. It just was so well done. Truly just well done. I loved it. I have loved all of them, but this one was just a step, like the first two books are really, really good. They are some of the best romances that I have ever read, and this was a step above that. So like, if those two books were 5 stars, this is 6 stars, if that makes sense. Another one we got was, spoiler alert, by Olivia Dade. This was the Vaultathon Round 8 group book. Really cute, really enjoyed it. It's about a girl and a guy, and the guy is an actor in this Game of Thrones-esque show, even though it should be like set in ancient Rome, but they decide they're gonna do 14th century armor. I'm still annoyed by that. He's basically the Jaime Lannister, Nikolai Coster-Waldau character, and then he ends up getting involved with a fan because she tweets a photo of herself in a cosplay, kind of as a, she's trying to be, you know, better about like, I am a fan, and like not hiding, but because she is plus size, people are dicks on the internet, and he's like, well, I would totally take you out on a date because you are beautiful, and she accepts the date. And I have several that I don't know what they're about. I have The Trouble with Hating You. It's Hate to Love, that's all I know. This is by Sashni Patel. It's obviously a hate to love contemporary type romance. So it's about a very successful engineer, and then she ends up getting set up at dinner with this guy her parents want her to marry, and she's like, no, that's not happening, I'm not doing an arranged marriage. But turns out this guy shows up because he has also been hired by like her company. He is the lawyer. He's a lawyer hired by their company to kind of help them out of some financial trouble. I also got The Matchmaker's Lonely Heart by Nancy Campbell Allen. It's about a detective and a lady who has an advice column, and it's what's called like a proper romance. I got Royal Holiday by Jasmine Guillory. This is the 4th book in the Wedding Date series. I have already read it, but I want to own all of them, so I've been slowly getting them as they come up on sale. And then I also got the first 2 books in the Bromance Book Club series. I have read this one, gave it 4 stars, really enjoyed it. It was really cute. I really liked how the relationship breakup was done, because it is about a man that some stuff happens and he and his wife are having a hard time, and it's about him going, okay, well, what do I have to do to, he ends up kind of doing some of the internal work to figure out what he has to do to fix his marriage. And then I also have Undercover Bromance. These are both by Alyssa K. Adams. This is the second one. It's about actually one of the characters that I wasn't terribly stoked about. I am sure, however, that it will be just as good as the first one. Eventually I'll get to it. I just have had other books I continue to read. This seems like as good as time as any to get to the thrillers / mystery crime novels that I have. I just kind of put all of them together. I was at my local indie bookstore. We managed to talk about Rick Riordan because that just happens where I am, and so she ended up giving me the next 2 books, I think, in the Big Red Tequila series that he wrote, which is The Widower's Two-Step and The Last King of Texas. Have no idea what these are about anymore. I've read the first one, really enjoyed it. It was basically like Percy but an adult. Like, character-wise, that's who the character is. And so I wanted to continue on with the series. I just haven't gotten around to it. We also got The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. I think this is a Jane Eyre retelling, but it's about what's her name that is in the attic. I also got Winter Counts by David Heska Wambley-Wyden. This was given to me on the recommendation, not given to me, but recommended to me by Michelle over at Thor Wants Another Letter. It's about a gentleman that is a local enforcer at the Rosebud Indian Reservation in South Dakota, and there are drug cartels involved, apparently. It's one of those books, like, when your friend won't stop talking about it, you're like, well, I obviously have to read this. Also have Ace of Spades by Ferida Ebike Iyamide. This is about 2 black teens that are going to an mostly all white, I think, prep school, boarding school, private school, something like that, and they end up, you know, something is happening with this group called the Aces. I didn't really look at the synopsis. I have heard nothing but good things about it. All of my friends are raving about it. I'm like, okay, it sounds like a good book to read. I also got Deadly Waters by Dot Hutchison. This is like the 6th book that Dot has written. It's another thriller, and I enjoyed the first 3 books in her thriller series. I don't know if I'm going to be mad about the last book because I haven't read it yet, but I'm working on it. And so I got this one. This one's set in Florida. I think it's actually set where I went to school. Definitely set at a university, and I'm guessing that that would be the University of Florida, because Dot and I met in Gainesville. So I'm gonna assume that we're talking about the University of Florida, but I could be wrong. But basically, a guy is found dead, and then another guy is found dead and eaten by, both of them are eaten by alligators, Florida thing. And the main character, Rebecca, has a roommate that she suspects may have offed these guys because, yes, they belong to the same fraternity and they have a reputation of preying on women. I also got The Castle School for Troubled Girls by Alyssa Scheinmo. And then I got 2 books. I am interested to see where I think on one of these, but I got The Silent Patient and The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I've heard really good stuff about this. There are very few people that I've heard that didn't like this one. I've heard mixed reviews on this one. I have friends that don't like it and think it was a waste of time. I have people that I know have read it and absolutely adored it. So I thought I'd read it. Got another Avengers Initiative group book, and that was The Things She's Seen by Amberlynn and Ezekiel Quamelina. This is set in Australia and is about a girl who is a ghost, and she's trying to help her dad solve this house that burned down, and there's missing people and all of this stuff, and so she's helping him do that while also trying to help him kind of move on. Then we also have another murder book about prep school kids, which is The Ivies by Alexa Dunn. This is about the college admissions scandal, and apparently Alexa worked in college admissions, so she kind of knows some stuff about some of the things people would do to get into colleges, so she wrote a book about it. And then the final one that I have is The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Booley. I am reading this currently, and it is so good. It is about Donis. She ends up getting caught in this drug investigation because they believe that traditional elements of Ojibwe medicine are being used in this specific form of meth, and she happens to know both chemistry because she's really sciencey and geeky and nerdy, and she knows Ojibwe traditional healing medicine. In case anyone is wondering, I have in fact saved the fantasy for last because it is the most. Let's see if I can get through the graphic novels that we are going to be talking about. Okay, here are some real quick. We'll just do these real quick. I got The Promised Neverland, Volume 2. Volume 1 was really messed up, and I want to know what happens next. I also got Not Your Idol, Volume 2. Again, with the Volume 2s, I read Volume 1 real quickly. I really enjoyed it. I liked some of how it was talking about sexual harassment and how women are perceived in society. And it ended on a cliffhanger, so I went and got the next one. And then I also went and got Volume 5 of My Hero Academia. I keep meaning to continue on with this series, and then I don't, so I'm hoping that, like, actually owning the volumes will make me actually go read them. The continuation in me trying to get all of the volumes of my favorite manga ever. Got volume 6, 7, 8, oh my god, 9, 10, these are so heavy, and 11 of Full Metal Alchemist in the Full Metal editions. Please read this manga series. That's all I've got to say. And then the final one that I got from Barnes & Noble's Book Annex, because they happen to have it, and I've been looking for this, but my library doesn't have it, and that is Invincible Iron Man Ironheart Volume 1 by Riri Williams. Like I said, I have been trying to get a hold of a copy of this, and my library does not have it, so when I saw this, I was very excited to see that, like, this was there. Okay, so we're moving on to the final couple bits. We're going to start with science fiction because that then leads into some of the fantasy books I got, and I just figured that's a good way to transition. So I got Containment by Karen Licks. This is the second book in the Sanctuary series. I enjoyed Sanctuary, and I wanted to see where things went from there, so Brianna happened to have this. She did not enjoy Sanctuary, and so she sent it my way. Also got the Labyrinth's Archivist by Day Al-Muhammad. I believe this is part of a series, the novella in the series, and so I think I need to go back and read some of the first ones, but I got it specifically for Vaultathon. Then I never ended up reading it. Whoops. But it was really interesting. It's about a girl who her family are like archivists, and they keep track of a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like a secret archive. And then she's not able to be involved in that for some reason because she is blind. And then stuff happens, and she has to, like, save the day because her family gets taken out of commission, and she has to help find them or something. I also got The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He. This is about two sisters. One of them is on an island, one of them is on an eco-city, and we're seeing both of their different perspectives. They're kind of both going through different stories, and I'm actually assuming they're sisters because one of them is missing her sister. So I'm assuming that the sister that is missing is the one that's on the island. Just a guess. It is quite possibly the most beautiful book that I have gotten all year. Like, hold on. Look at that. Can you see? And then it also has these, like, wow. I also got a copy of The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow that is in the normal size, not the Book of the Month size. That is going to someone else. I'm going to let them have it, but I wanted one that was in this normal size so that when Alicia Dow publishes other books, I can have books that match. And the final science fiction that I have to talk about is one that I got as a part of a prize package from Orbit Books. They sent me 6 books, and it was kind of in promoting this book. This was a science fiction, all of the others are fantasy. So I got Shards of Earth by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I have no idea what it's about. It was in the prize package, and I wanted another one of the books in the prize package, so I got this one. The one that I wanted to get was Rage of Dragons by Evan Winters because I knew that I wanted to read the series. I've heard very good things about it. I did read it. It was really good. I will be getting to the next one eventually soon because so much going on. It's described as Gladiator meets Game of Thrones, and I really do think that that's an accurate kind of description based on what I know of Gladiator and what I know of Game of Thrones. I haven't watched either of them. Also in that prize package, we've started the fantasy section, by the way, if anyone hadn't realized that. Also in that prize package was The Tower of Fools by Andrzej Sapkowski. No idea what this is about. It was in the prize package, and yeah, no idea what this is about. Some of these I did read, and I do think, like this one, Rewrite the Set Storm by Devin Madsen. I remember reading the back of this and thinking it was interesting. I just don't remember what it's about. We're following a bunch of different points of view, though, so that sounds interesting, and it's after something has happened, like there has been a rebellion. I also got A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie. This looks like there are Vikings involved. And there is a wolf. Is that Fenrir? Who knows? Okay, so it sounds like these are fictional Vikings. But it's book 1 in the Age of Madness series. I got a whole bunch of book 1s. I'm interested to see where this goes. And then the final one, and I think the one that is most interesting to me outside of Rage of Dragons, is The Pariah by Anthony Ryan. Again, I don't remember what this is about. He is an outlaw, lives with thieves, there's blood and vengeance, and a demonic apocalypse. Okay. Oh, and it sounds like he may end up like caught up in the nobility, even though he is not noble. Also, we got the most recent book in the Truth Witch series, which you absolutely know I adore, and that is Witch Shadow by Susan Dennard. Gave this 4 stars. It was so good. It didn't give me everything I wanted, but it did give me some good stuff. This probably should have gone in the historical fiction, but whatever. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, again, gave it 4 stars. Not my favorite ending of her books, but she's had worse endings that have made me more angry than this one has, so, you know, stuff happens. It's fine. Also, when we went to Orlando, we were at Books A Million, and they have like a really nice like discount book section, and so I got The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. Yes, I already own 1 copy of this book, but I do not own it in the white version. I only have the first 2 books in the white version. I have all of the series in the black versions. So if you haven't read The Cruel Prince, there's a review somewhere. There's reading vlogs. I've like whole part of my channel is dedicated to this series because I enjoyed it so much. I know a lot of people think that this was a little bit rushed. I don't care. I enjoyed it. It was good. A whole bunch of books from my little free library, but first we're going to talk about Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan. This is his newest series that he is starting, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is actually like older middle grade, which I'm interested to see because technically I like he's shelved in the middle grade, but this is technically YA, like younger YA, but still, like I'm interested to see where this goes because she's a freshman, which means she's like 14 or 15. I didn't go to real school, guys. I don't know what ages go to what grade. My little free library happened to have some books, and so I got Race to the Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I am excited about this one because I've liked everything else that Rebecca Roanhorse has written, so I'm excited to see what else happens here. I also got The Shadowrunner by J.C. Cervantes, and the second book in the Arusha series, which is Arusha and the Song of Death. Oh, this one actually I think I got from my indie bookstore by Roshni Chakshi. This, I really enjoyed the first book, and I saw that they had this at my local indie, and so I got it. This is the Rick Riordan Presents series where he's kind of going into stuff that he doesn't necessarily have any cultural background in, but he is making sure that there is a way for people who do to publish those books. There's a lot. There's a lot of series by different authors covering different things, so I'm really excited to get to them. Also, when I was at that little free library, I found Conceal, Don't Feel by Jen Kalanita. This is the Twisted Tale series for Disney. If I remember correct, well, it says it right here. What if Anna and Elsa never knew each other? So just, yeah. I got the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. I want to review this. I want to have it on my shelves, and they happen to have it, again, with the, like, buy one, get one half off sale that they were doing at Barnes & Noble, so I got it. Okay, I think we're going to crown this with my pride and joy that I have gotten from the things I got. These guys from Litjoy Crate. No, again, why do I keep saying Litjoy Crate? This is Illuma Crate. I got Clockwork Prince. Nope, this is Clockwork Angel. Clockwork Prince and Clockwork Princess from Illuma Crate. They had these versions. This is my favorite Cassandra Clare series, and so when I found out that they've had these versions, you knew I had to buy them. I had to have these gorgeous editions, especially since this is purple. Like, I don't think I'd want to collect all of her series in multiple editions, but this particular series, I will shell out money for. I got the second book in the Tiger at Midnight series, which is The Archer at Dawn by Swati Tirhala. I really enjoyed the first one. It's like a whole bunch of like a cat and mouse between the main character and the love interest and all of this stuff. So I really enjoyed just watching them chase each other across this country and then the things that were revealed at the end and all of that. So I do want to continue on with the series, and I happened to see it was at the bookstore. Listen, when I get paid, I get to go buy myself a book. Also got We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars by Hafsa Fazel. I listened to this as an audiobook, really enjoyed it, and so naturally I was like, I'm just gonna get both of them so that I can have them because I want them on my shelves. Someone is going to have to count all of these books, and I feel sorry for them. That someone is me, obviously. I got The Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. This is a Snow White retelling. This particular one is from the point of view of the wicked queen, wicked stepmother. I mean, she's both. She's a queen and a stepmother, and she's wicked. All three, I guess, is how we do that. This, yeah. yeah, it's just, it's a retelling set in a fantasy world based on China. I'm not sure the exact era. I just know that based on stuff that's been in the last book, based on stuff I've seen the author say, that is kind of where she's drawing her inspiration from. We got Bloodline Magic by Lizelle Sambury. This is about a woman who, or a girl who is part of a family of witches, and they have this like right that they have to pass, and if you don't pass it, then you have to do something else. Your entire family loses their magic, and her something else is that she has to fall in love and then kill the person that she has fallen in love with. So she decides that she's going to use an app to find someone to fall in love with, so that she's not going to get I'm pretty sure the magic is going to know if you go to someone and you don't get attached to them, and then you just, like, I don't think that's gonna work. We also got A Song of Wraith and Ruin by Roseanne Brown. This was so good. This was another, I think we've got, this is the last of the Avengers Initiative Reading Challenge group book picks for this year. This is about Malik and Karina, and they're both disasters. I love them so much. And Malik is doing some stuff because his sister has been kidnapped by a powerful spirit, and it's his fault. And then Karina's mother is dead, and she's trying to hide that fact because it's in the middle of Solstasia, which is a huge celebration, and her mother being dead would ruin a whole bunch of stuff that is involved in that. It was so good, and I can't wait for book 2. And then finally, I got Howl's Moving Castle. This is the Land of Ingrid trilogy. I got Howl's Moving Castle. Where is it? Nope. Castle in the Air and House of Many Ways. I love this book. I have read it so many times that the book that I have, the copy I have, is falling apart, so I decided to get a new one so that I wouldn't be risking that one any longer, and I wanted to continue on with the series, so I got the rest of them. I really like these covers. I wish they were in hardcover, but you know, we can't have everything we want in life. You haven't heard me rant about Howl's Moving Castle, you haven't been here long, but I do regularly mention it and bring it up and tell people that they should read it. Alright, so that is, oh wait, we have one more I need to do. So Owl Crate was doing a special edition box for the Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater, and this is one of my favorite books of all time, as in, it's been signed by her, and if something were to happen where I had to evacuate my house, that might be the only book that if I could only grab one book from my shelf, it would be that one, because I love the signature, and there's a horse that she drew on the inside and all of that stuff. So I got this primarily because it has that on the inside. So that's why I got it. This is about horses that eat people, and people who decide that it's a good idea to capture these horses and do a race every November with them. Why we decided that, I don't know, but it's really good, and you're gonna feel like it should be a real island and a real race that happens, but the Kapelushka do not actually exist. Okay, so I guess I have to go count all of these now. Hold on. We're at 65. I haven't even gotten to this one. Oh my god. That's 97 books, guys. I know this is probably the same amount that I got last year. But oh god. How am I don't know how I'm gonna fit all of these unread books up there. There's no way that's happening. This is why I'm not allowed to buy books anymore unless they're nonfiction, or yeah, this is why I'm not allowed to buy books anymore. So I have enough books here that I am sure if you are watching my channel, you have probably read one of them. So if you are feeling chatty, please let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts were. If there's one on here that you think I really should get to, let me know that. If there is one specific book on here that I have not read, let me know. Again, remember, they're linked in the description box if I have read them, but let me know if you'd like me to read that book, and I will try and get to that book more quickly than I would if I were just me doing my thing. Guys, I just do not recommend doing 9 months, or no, 8 months worth of books that you've bought in one haul. Just don't recommend that. If you are not feeling chatty, do the emoji, you know, the one that's like the scream painting but as an emoji, put that emoji in the comments. If you're not feeling chatty but you want to let me know that you watched the end of the video, go ahead and use that one. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you enjoyed this video, there are other videos that I have over here that you can check out. You might enjoy some of these as well. And if you enjoyed these videos and you enjoyed this video and you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are not new here and you haven't hit the bell icon, do that. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye! Why were there jazz hands?